Okay, folks, so I'm following up on the drag queen LGBT dance with Wigfall that's scheduled to happen in Newburyport on May 13th, which is this Friday. So let me play the clip from Newburyport Mayor Sean Reardon. This is his Mayor's Corner video where he updates viewers on happenings in Newburyport, and he conveniently leaves out the real reason for the pushback regarding this dance. They want to paint a picture that it's the LGBT dance that's the issue, and it's not. It's the host of this dance. In this clip, you'll see he does not mention Wigfall's Instagram photos or any of the sexually suggestive videos, but instead blames it on the candidate, which we know is Carrie McRae. I covered that in the previous video, that she made a phone call to the Masonic Lodge, and she wasn't the only one who called there. A lot of the parents called her, and she also happened to call there, okay? So I'm going to roll the clip, and we'll be right back.
That came up on Friday was the dance that the NYS was trying to have at the Masonic Lodge on Green Street. And, you know, again, you've probably seen it all over the news now. This issue kind of blew up at the time. The Masonic Lodge ended up pulling their commitment to letting us have the dance there when an outside person, someone outside of Newburyport, actually a political candidate from the Cape, came up and started making, some really just not accurate, I would say, depictions of what was going to transpire there for the dance. And the Masonic Lodge pulled their commitment really quickly. So I'm told that they're meeting again, so I guess by the time you view this, there could be a different outcome. So right now, we have a couple different options for that dance. And, I really applaud all the things that NYS tries to do, because, again, they're talking about being there for all kids, not just for some of the kids. We're trying to be an inclusive community. We're trying to really reach out to those most vulnerable population of kids, and those LGBTQ kids definitely fall into that range. So again, whatever we can do to support those kids, and this was an initiative that the kids came up with at NYS for grades 9 to 12. So again, there's been a lot of talk out there. I would just encourage everyone, take advantage of these office hours. Come talk to me if you have questions about what's going on in the community.
Okay, so there's the clip. You can see it's all about the deflection, right? Look over here, but not over here, where the real meat and potatoes of the story is. Two Epoch Times articles, both written by Alice Giordano, and she did an excellent job of covering both sides of the topic. Take note, Dave Rogers. I talked about that in the previous video with his lack of research on Wigfall. In comparison, Giordano did a really great job. So let's get into this first Epoch Times article here. Children's drag queen dance party draws outrage in New England from May 1st, 2022. Massachusetts Family Institute, which is MFI, Director of Communications and Research, Mary Ellen Siegler, and she says, quote, "Local municipalities should not be endorsing adult sexualized entertainment for minors. This is crazy to be promoting someone in the adult entertainment business as a fun time for kids." Wigfall also has several partially nude pictures of himself posted on his Instagram page, including completely nude and close-up photos of his buttocks. In an article published last month in Rainbow Times, Wigfall, who also goes by the name of AJ Fenway Parker, gave a detailed account of a performance during the New York City Pride Festival in which the leotard he was wearing came undone near his genitals. Quote, "The crotch on my leotard popped open and I was like, whatever, I'm going to keep going. And from that point on, I always had a safety pin," he recalled with a laugh. Wigfall joked about it happening again in a later show. They reached out to Andrea Egmont, director of the Newburyport Youth Services, or NYS, which is co-sponsoring the event with the North Shore Alliance for LGBT Youth. Egmont later posted on Facebook that, quote, "The story has now hit several conservative websites, from what we understand, and with absolutely appalling clickbait titles, and that it has mistakenly been labeled as a drag show when it is just a dance with a drag queen DJ, quote, playing music and running some games." Egmont said in her Facebook post that for the event, her staff looked for a quote, DJ who represents LGBT culture, and they picked Ms. Diamond because she was a fixture in the area drag community with a history of drawing families of all ages. Egmont posted a video showing Wigfall holding a drag queen story hour for toddlers and another video of Wigfall performing a fundraiser for the Trevor Project. She called complaints about the dance as homophobic rhetoric. And getting to the part regarding who was funding this dance. Okay, Egmont, Reed, and Vogel also emphasized that the criticism of the city over the dance was unwarranted because it was private and not taxpayer funded. Parents and other Newburyport officials opposed to the dance called that claim, quote, plain ridiculous. Quote, NYS is not in any way a private organization. It's a city department, just like DPS, DPW, our planning office, parks department, and so on, Newburyport City Councilor Omar Zeid told the Epoch Times. Quote, its employees are city employees. All of the funds it collects are subject to public scrutiny. The city budget shows that the NYS, which identifies itself as a municipal budget on its website, is definitely city funded, having received $437,000 in tax dollars in 2021. Egmont also indicated on her Facebook post that the municipal department will be providing staffing for the event. Ken Wood, who's a resident in Georgetown, told the Epoch Times he is disturbed but not surprised by the drag queen dance party. Quote, I have been watching our local governments and schools become obsessed with child sexuality and deviant behavior, Wood said. It's not acceptable. So at the time this article was written, they were looking for a new venue. The Masonic Lodge had backed out, but they rescinded that, and now it is back on at the Masonic Lodge. So let's go to the second article. From May 6th, 2022, debate escalates over children's drag queen dance party in Massachusetts. Another controversial video that just surfaced on Friday shows Wigfall promoting the use of marijuana and how to convert it into a cannabis concentrate called sugar. The video is titled, quote, Diamond's Dope Reviews. In it, Wigfall is dressed in full drag and gets high during the video. Carrie McRae has a daughter who identifies as bisexual, and she told the Epoch Times that she got involved with this entire dance situation because she was contacted by Newburyport parents, including the mother of a gay teen from the community. Quote, she was very concerned the town was promoting Wigfall as a role model for local teens, McRae said. She couldn't find any other official willing to help with her concerns. So moving along in the article, Massachusetts Democratic Senators Diana DiZoglio and Julian Cyr released a joint statement stating, quote, it's sad to see the disgraceful, homophobic, and transphobic politics practiced by national right-wingers rear its ugly head here in Massachusetts, the two Democrats wrote. Again, deflecting. They're saying this is homophobic and transphobic, and it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the fact that this host works in an adult arena and that they're bringing this person into work with kids. That is what the issue is. But again, notice the deflection. So getting into the decision of the Masonic Lodge, because they initially backed out, but now they're back in. The decision to withdraw permission was issued by a high-ranking official at the Grand Lodge in Boston without local input, group wrote in a statement released through the mayor's office. The Newburyport Lodge said that after holding an emergency meeting, it unanimously voted to reinstate permission to hold the dance at its Masonic Center. So it goes on to quote Mary Ellen Siegler, who is the director of communications for Massachusetts Family Institute, and she is saying here, drag queens are adult sexual performers and they do not belong at events for kids. I don't care what drag queen it is. And she's equating it to that the group would be as much opposed to having a stripper host a teen dance party or anyone involved in sexual work. whether it's homosexual or heterosexual. A parent opposed to the dance pointed out that NYS changed the description of the dance after parents began posting complaints about the dance on social media. NYS originally invited teens to, quote, drag themselves to the drag show. It now says Wigfall is just DJing the event. And in the previous article I just talked about, they said that Wigfall is supposed to be DJing and also playing games with the kids. So see how the story is shifting here. Then you have a member of the group Women in Action Huddle of Greater Newburyport, which has supported Planned Parenthood events in the community, posted on Facebook that the group of parents have, quote, warped views, quote, are racist and bigoted, and called them, quote, a hate group disguising themselves as concerned parents. In closing out the article, a national group called Object ran an article with a starkly different position called, quote, pedophilia in drag, and the group said it believes that drag queen events are being used as the latest strategy in a growing movement to sexualize children. Quote, one motive for this is that focusing on children discourages the public from thinking of cross-dressing as a sexual fetish, even though for adult men it usually is. The group said, quote, for adult men, drag is about dressing up in women's clothes and performing extreme femininity. It is generally not about dressing up in the sort of outfit an ordinary woman would wear. It's about dressing in overtly sexualized clothes. And I would add to that, so this is the end of the article here. I will put a link in the bottom to Turtle Boy's podcast from last Saturday. He talks about how drag queens, it's similar to blackface, doing this extreme mockery of women. You are with exaggerated makeup, usually very sexually provocative clothing. The jokes are sexual. It's very much basically the avatar of like this exaggerated, overly sexualized woman. And so where are the feminists? Where are they? Why won't they talk about this? Because in a sense, it is like blackface. You are mocking women. And it amazes me that anything from the feminists out there, anything? Yep. Is it crickets? Yep. Sounds it. So getting back to how this dance is being funded. They wanted to say, the mayor's office is saying, no, it's not being funded by taxpayers. And then as I'm reading an Epoch Times article that it is. So, but the bottom line here, you know what is funded by the taxpayers? Your salaries are. Mayor Reardon, Andrea Egmont, your salaries are funded by the taxpayers. So you're supposed to be taking the time, I'll even say taking an hour of time to vet any performer or contractor who will be working with kids. And in one of those articles from the Epoch Times, Egmont stated that it was her staff that looked for somebody. So how well did that staff vet this person? And I understand that performers, they can hide material on different platforms, but this material from Wigfall was right out there, easy to find. Go to the Instagram, go to the YouTube, go to the TikTok, you would have found it. And since NYS announced this whole event on Instagram, you're gonna tell me they didn't already go to Wigfall's Instagram and see those photos? And you could have found it. And the other part of this is, or did you know about it and went forward with this anyway? Is this the bar you want to set for the kids? And we're paying you to be the adult and make an adult decision. Reardon's video, he was saying that the kids wanted this person. Okay, so we're getting answers all over the place. If the kids want this person, you should have looked into this and said no. How about choosing a performer who's not in lowbrow entertainment, someone inspiring who's done great things for the LGBT community, or just get a regular DJ. You can still have it be LGBT themed and just get a regular DJ. And another point I want to make, and this is a big phrase for the LGBT, what about safe spaces? How about providing a safe space for the kids not to be influenced by a drag performer who does adult shows? What about a safe space free from sexualized content, sexualized jokes, or free from someone who is involved in adult content at all. And I've read many of the opposing comments on social media. Well, kids are seeing this all the time online. They're seeing RuPaul's Drag Race. It's in music, and that's all true. I think both sides can agree that sexualized content is everywhere today. The kids are being exposed to Cardi B doing explicit videos. You have Megan Thee Stallion doing the same. You have Miley Virus doing the same. It's all explicit content. Why does the school have to cross that line, especially when everyone will admit, both sides will admit that kids are exposed to highly sexualized media all the time? If anyone has been to a drag show, you already know, and I've been to many of you, already know it's notorious for sexual jokes, sexual floor dancing, and here's a clip of Wigfall and Friends. Wigfall is wearing the black unitard here, and I understand that Wigfall has stated the show will be modified for high schoolers, blah, 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 but let me just pose this situation. Back in the day, in the 1980s and somewhat in the 90s, Prince and Madonna were highly sexualized artists, okay? You had Madonna humping the floor at the MTV Awards. Prince was humping floors and mic stands and just about everything, okay? But as teens, we would have never been exposed to that type of performer at a high school event. Even if there had been some type of cover band, like a Madonna or Prince cover band, where they had someone who was an impersonator, that would have never been allowed in school because of the type of artists that they were. And just as another example, you wouldn't allow a female teacher who had the same explicit photos like Wigfall had on his Instagram take a job as a teacher, would you? I mean, if she had a parody YouTube video swallowing a banana and sucking her finger, would you allow her as a teacher? In normal circumstances, the two do not mix.